This is the Auto Bravo pump that we've built up for you guys. It is the same type of pump, but what we've added is a gauge and relief valve on the back side. This relief valve vents to the front of the reservoir so that it protects the system of high pressure. As you can see, the ultra sensor is cycling. It was off at first. It is now on. The system was counting down or counting up to 1 minute. The system takes about a minute or 61 seconds for it to fire. We'll watch it here for a second. Now what that's doing is it's going to count down for another minute, and then it will fire it again. The ultra sensor is the unit that's sending back the information. The gauge is there to show if there's a high pressure. If we were to take one of your outlets and plug it, which we've already done in a test, that would cause the grease not to be able to come out its line, and the gauge would show high pressure. The ultra sensor, the light would not change state, and then the timer would time out, which is what you guys were seeing earlier with this last system that had some contamination in the block. This is your grease. Again, if I hit reset, it's counting, looking for the ultra sensor to change state. The gauge is running at 0 because there's really no pressure of the grease coming out of the lines. It's stirring. The relief valve is set for 3200 psi. The system, like I said, takes about 61 seconds to cycle. It's taking the grease coming out of the pumping element. This is the pumping element here. Taking it, it's sending it through the line, up into the block, and then the block is dividing it up into 3 equal parts. Ultra sensor should change state here in just a second. There it is. You'll also notice that there's an extra dot down here on the face that will also show cycle. Gauge is reading at 0. You might see a couple hundred psi when you have your lines hooked up to it. We'll see the ultra sensor turn off. Turned off, and now it's counting back down. Running at 12 volts. It's barely it's not even an amp. It's 0.1 amps actually. Good system. Grease on the side.